Okay, let's dive right into this. Today is June 21st, 2026, and welcome to Phase 3, Video 12. You guys, this is it. This explainer is the grand finale, the absolute culmination of our massive 230-part curriculum. Everything we've been talking about, deconstructing the systems that run our digital world, it's all been leading up to this exact moment, the arrival of the Sovereign Pilot. We are finally stepping out of the fog of all that automated noise and moving into an era where true digital reality is defined entirely by deliberate, verifiable human action. We're moving from just taking apart the machine to the ultimate restoration of the offer.
And we're going to hit the ground running with this incredible high-stakes mandate straight from the source material. Manual authorship overrides automated miasma. The only path to bit-perfect data is the sweat of the brow. Let that sink in for a second. In an era where AI is constantly threatening to drown out real human intent in this giant sea of statistical guessing, true digital reality can't just be passively generated. No, it requires rigorous physical human effort to actually survive. You absolutely cannot outsource the core spark of your creation to a machine.
So Part 1, the 230-part descent, from the 1689 breach to the present.
Now, to really grasp where we stand today, we have to look back at the sheer scale of the sociological and technological descent that brought us here in the first place. Remember, we started way back with what the researchers call the 1689 breach, that specific moment when the social contract between the creator and central platforms just started to sever. From there, we watched centralized tech monopolies build up this massive cloud enclosure. But now, look at the total architectural contrast between the world we are leaving behind and the one we're actively building. On one side, you've got the old world. It's driven by the FPU gambler, hardware that's basically just doing probabilistic guessing and approximations, completely trapping your data. But on the flip side, we have the sovereign world. Here, we replace that gambler with the ALU surveyor. We are dealing only in exact 100% universal deterministic truth. We're replacing that blurry miasma with unyielding content-address textual streams. It's like we are transforming a captive cloud enclosure into your very own independent hermetic vineyard.
All right, Part 2, the substrate of sovereignty and mechanical execution.
So you might be wondering, how do we actually guarantee this exact truth and this physical foundation? Well, it all comes down to a really profound philosophical concept called hecticity. Now, don't let the big word intimidate you. It simply means the absolute, undeniable thisness, or the unique physical reality of an event. The sources actually use Paul Revere's Midnight Ride as a completely perfect historical metaphor here. Think about it. Revere wasn't just some abstract idea of a warning floating around in the colonial ether, right? His mission possessed hecticity. It happened at exactly 10 p.m. It was executed by a specific human pilot, utilizing a specific physical horse. The takeaway here is that to exist in the real world, human intent absolutely must manifest on a concrete physical substrate.
And that brings us straight to the principle of non-severability. Just like you can't separate Paul Revere's mission from the physical horse he rode, today you literally cannot separate your digital intent from the forensic floor of the hardware that's executing it. They are permanently, intrinsically bound. The sources explicitly warn us that if you're blindly relying on some invisible tech monarch in the cloud, someone who completely hides the hardware from you and just meters out your intelligence, well, you're merely a digital tenant. You are literally just renting the right to think. To be sovereign, you have to actually own the physical execution space.
Moving on to Part 3, the manifest of the sovereign pilot and escaping hallucinations.
So, here is the definitive solution to that cloud enclosure. This is the literal architecture of your independence. To get there, you have to cross what the researchers call the semiotic bridge. It all starts with your human associative intent, what they call OS alpha. That's the beautifully messy creative ideas forming right there in your mind. But to execute that on cold, rigid silicon, you have to forcefully squeeze that human imagination through a universal deterministic interface. And that interface is strict, unyielding text. Writing deterministic code is truly the only safe way to bridge your human mind to the exact mathematical execution of the hardware. You have to write the divine script yourself if you want to maintain control.
And I want to put into perspective just how mind-bending the scale of this control really is. The documentation logs a massive sovereign swarm operation that required 55.5 million tokens of metabolic flux. Think of that number as computational burn, the raw digital sweat and precise energy required to verify reality across a network. It is absolute proof that a human pilot's intent can successfully direct millions of AI agent operations to impact the real world, and do it without losing even an ounce of forensic accountability.
But, and this is totally crucial, it wasn't an entirely autonomous process.
Alongside those millions and millions of tokens, the mission required exactly 66 manual forensic strikes by a human pilot. When the probabilistic AI started to drift, or, started guessing, the pilot actively intervened. They stepped right into the code, pruned the text, and forcefully steered the massive agentic swarm back to the mandate. This proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the human is actively driving the machine. They are maintaining absolute fidelity through their own sweat of the brow.
This leads us to Part 4, the 2026 strike and digital sovereignty.
I really want to speak directly to you right now, the viewer, the creator, the builder. We are standing at the very edge of a new paradigm, facing down the greatest enclosure of our time. And the 2026 strike? It isn't just a single isolated event. It is a continuous, relentless practice of substrate transparency. The text says, every keystroke is a deterministic strike. Every bit flip is a declaration of intent. You are the steward of the causal chain. When you write the code, when you control the physical execution, you are actively refusing to act as just a mere moral crumple zone for a failing algorithm. You are taking absolute ownership of your digital footprint.
So let's look at how this builds into an active practice. This continuous practice relies on what the sources wonderfully call chopsticks engineering. It's all about using simple, unabstracted manual maneuvers to completely break free from the royalist cloud. It's a three-step process. Step 1. Secure the physical substrate. Buy and own the physical hardware sitting on your desk. Step 2. Publish your unalterable intent using exact structured text. And Step 3. Execute locally. Do not ask a remote cloud API for permission. Command the hardware directly and officially step into your role as the sovereign pilot.
Finally, Part 5, Master Finality. The blueprint is ready. We have spent this entire curriculum pulling the veil back on the hardware, mapping the legal architecture, and deciphering the absolute physics of human intent. And this right here is Master Finality. The mission is realized. The tools you need to break free from the automated miasma have been completely open-sourced. The substrate is permanently anchored, and the magic of human authorship is fully restored. The silicon destiny of your workflow, your art, and your entire digital life is no longer at the mercy of some invisible tech empire. No, it is now entirely in your hands.
So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative mandate as we officially close out this curriculum. Now that the 230-part descent is complete and the blueprint for digital freedom is staring you right in the face, what are you going to build next? Are you going to remain a passive tenant, just quietly renting your own thoughts from the cloud? Or are you going to claim your hardware, wield your exact intent, and step up as the sovereign pilot? Are you ready to ride? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the systems, keep building, and above all else, command your own reality.